Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and episode number 2 of The Legacy Continues here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we're kicking things off with a little bit of a chat with Chris, the engineer guy, who's giving Mick a list of upgrades that have been applied to the car for this race. Now, before we jump into it, guys, a little disclaimer from my end. For some reason, the mods on this episode seem to have messed up, so the drivers that are Van Dorn, Ocon, Gasly, and also Stroll, for some reason, are not on the grid, and it's the actual genuine 2016 drivers like Button, Massa, Kvyat, and also Palmer. So basically, I don't know what went on there, but it seems like the mods seem to have messed up a little bit, because I'm always changing the mods up when it comes to recording different series, and sometimes for some reason the mods can go a little bit wrong, so I do apologise for that. I'm going to try and look into the issue and try and solve it, but nevertheless, moving into practice, and so far I've got to say, Mick was very impressive in practice. He was looking very comfortable with the car, and the car was driving very nicely in Friday practice. As you can see, he smashed the track acclimatization test at the first time of asking very easily there, and the same principle applied for the tyre wear test. The Manor did seem to chew through its tyres a little bit more than expected, but Mick did manage to manage it quite nicely, and as you can see, he managed to hit the first target of 60 points, getting only one green sector in there, and then literally the very next lap after, which is the one you're seeing right now, he went on to smash the secondary target, also of 80 points, and once again, another sector in the green. So the lap times and the tyre wear, very wish-wash sort of mismatch, because it's sort of like in the purple and in the green, so it's a bit all over the place. The tyre wear is definitely a big factor for this racetrack, especially for the Manor, which is a car that does chew through its tyres quite a bit, so that's something that Manor are going to have to look out for in the race. But as you can see, now coming through the final part of practice, and Mick absolutely smashed the qualifying simulation. So with that, we're going to move into qualifying. So here we are then on the Saturday evening here at Bahrain. As you can see, the night skies are starting to fall upon us here as we move into Q1. And Q1, an interesting session, because Mick Schumacher actually went out on the soft tyres first of all to try and get a banker lap in. Based off of practice, Mick was feeling quite confident that he could get a result here. So he went out on the soft tyre first. As you can see, he got himself up into P9. A pretty decent lap there from Mick. However, there were a lot of cars yet to go out. And as you can see, Mick eventually got bumped down to P18. So he went back out. He managed to cross the line with only a couple of seconds to spare, and eventually putting one last gasp lap. And obviously, being on the super soft, there was a lot of time to gain, and quite importantly and quite impressively, Mick's going to get through the Q2 quite convincingly in a very impressive P11 there. So Mick into Q2 in the second race of the season for Manor in P11 there, so a very nice lap. And you know, if he's in P11, you've got to think maybe he could possibly get Q3 if the pace is there. Now, as you can see, this was Mick's one and only lap in Q2. As you can see, with 4 minutes left on the clock, he's going to come across the line, and let's see where this lap puts him. He's going to go P7 there, so a fantastic lap from Mick Schumacher to go P7, and that is where the session would end, and Mick would qualify in P7 there. So a fantastic Q2, and he's into Q3, which is an absolutely unbelievable achievement considering the car he's in. So I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those freak moments where the car, the driver, and the track is all working nicely together. And we're going to move into Q3 now, so the night skies have fully fallen upon us now, and we're going to try and ride on board with the entire lap here with Mick Schumacher to see how his lap in Q3 unfolds, as he gets a very nice run through the first 3 corners now, making his way up a little bit of a hill into turn number 4. You want to just keep it in 7th gear, then find the 100-meter ball down the 3rd gear. Make sure you kiss the apex absolutely beautifully there, using the trail braking to your advantage, then get on power quite nicely as we go into the middle sector, and turn 6 and 7, which are a right and left hand sort of swooping chicane. Mick getting all out of shape, missing the apex completely there, and running really wide on the curb, but also missing the apex at turn 8. So a very scruffy middle sector so far for Mick Schumacher, losing a little bit of time as we now go into the crucial turn 10, which feeds into turn 11, the hardest corner on the track in my opinion. And Mick absolutely nailed it there, actually quite nicely, getting some great traction on the exit as we now open up the DRS here. And so far, if you saw in the first sector, Mick Schumacher was 2 tenths up on Lewis Hamilton, which is absolutely unbelievable, but it's been a scruffy middle sector, so I'm expecting him to be down as we go through turn 13, I believe, and they're trying to keep it absolutely flat through here as we come across the second sector split, and Mick Schumacher is still fastest in the middle sector. Unbelievable so far. He's only 200ths up on Lewis Hamilton, but this could be an historic lap here. I mean, already is historic the fact he's in Q3, but this lap could put him really high up the grid here as we go into the final 2 corners now into the penultimate corner, which feeds out into the flat out final corner, trying to pick up the traction on the exit. And here we go, it's the race to the line. Can Mick Schumacher get pole position in Bahrain? No, he can't. He just misses out, but it's an incredible lap time, and it's P7 for Mick Schumacher in Bahrain qualifying, and an incredible stellar performance here in the manor, and crucially only 4/10 off of Lewis Hamilton's pole position time, so that's an unbelievable achievement there from the young German in only his second race in Formula 1, and the manor working beautifully around Bahrain. But that was qualifying, and we're now going to move into the race. So here we go then, it's race day on a Sunday evening for Bahrain. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 2 of the 2016 championship. And can Mick Schumacher try and pull off an incredible result? I mean, qualifying alone was just incredible. With that result, Mick could have gone home happy, I believe, but obviously he's going to want to try and improve in the race and try and maintain that result, but it's going to be a very tough task. He is in a manner, but so far the pace this weekend has been very, very encouraging. So let's see what happens here as we gear up to the 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go for round 2 of the season. And Mick actually gets a great start, getting alongside the Red Bull straight off the bat here of Daniel Ricciardo, now making our way into the first corner here, trying to keep it out of any first corner instance. He actually switches to the inside line, keeping it nice and tight through the turn 1 apex, and then going around the outside of both the Red Bull and the Ferrari, and also Nico Rosberg, so going around the outside of 3 cars through turn 2 there from Mick Schumacher. Great start so far, and then he's going to try and go up the inside of the soft tyre Verstappen here, up the inside of turn 4, keeping it in 3rd gear, getting a great run through the corner and making the move, and Mick Schumacher's up into 3rd place on the first lap of the race. Unbelievable stuff in the Manor car. And as we move on to lap 2, there's a yellow flag behind, and it's Sebastian Vettel who's retired from the race, and that's triggered a virtual safety car. So incredible start from Mick Schumacher, and he's already got a virtual safety car to try and help him out and stabilise things. But looking at a replay, you can see through turn 4 there, Vettel just loses the engine already in the second race of the season, and he'll be very disappointed with that one, and Ferrari won't be happy either. So a very disappointing one for Sebastian Vettel there. But moving later on, and the virtual safety car eventually came back in, and that's going to allow the racing to get back underway here. And Rosberg looking very racy early on here, and Mick Schumacher having to defend already now on the end of lap 3. As you can see, Rosberg goes up the inside quite nicely through the final corner, but Mick's going to get a beautiful switchback on him and actually smoke up the rear tyres on traction. But he actually gets back past Rosberg here, but Rosberg with DRS assistance here, he's going to try and make a move on Mick Schumacher. As we go to turn 1 now, Rosberg's going to try and stick it up the inside. Can he try and pull it off? Mick's going to go nice and late on the brakes, locking up the right front here, side by side through turn 1, and Mick just holds on to P3. So great stuff so far from the German, holding back his fellow German compatriot here as we move on to the end of lap 4. As you can see, Rosberg once again not letting this position go. He's very, very fast behind Mick Schumacher, and he's going to try and make a move now into the final corner. This time he pulls it off, but Mick Schumacher once again getting a beautiful switch back here, cutting back underneath Rosberg, trying to pick up the traction, and it's going to be a drag race all the way down to turn 1. The Manor actually keeping up quite nicely in a straight line, but eventually Rosberg opens up the DRS, and look at the speed difference between the two cars. Mick's going to tuck in for a bit more slipstream and go to the inside. Can he get Rosberg on the brakes? No, he can't, and Rosberg just holds on to P3 there. So overall some good defensive driving from Mick Schumacher. But then moving on to the end of lap 6, it's actually going to be pit stop time as Mick comes in for his first stop of the race. Now the strategy for this race is going to be quite an interesting one, because Mick's going to try and just extend that super soft as long as he could. So he's managed to drag it out 6 laps. He's now going to go onto a set of soft tyres. Now the ideal strategy is probably a super soft, but with the Manor being quite a car that eats its tyres quite a lot, it's going to be quite a hard strategy to pull off. So Mick might have to go for a medium later on in the race. But as you can see, he's actually lost the position to Verstappen in the pit stop phase, because he had a very slow pit stop and the lollipop got held down while Verstappen was coming by. So Red Bull giving Verstappen a brilliant pit stop. As you can see, Mick just rejoining in front of Valtteri Bottas there, and just behind both of the Red Bulls. So Mick's lost a lot of time in that pit stop phase, because Ricciardo actually pit the lap before and he managed to undercut him. So Mick's actually been overtaken by both of the Red Bulls, and now Bottas is wanting a slice of the action as we go into turn 4. Can Mick hang it around the outside? Yes, he can, and he holds on to that position for the time being. And obviously he's on the soft tyres, so he should have a little bit better grip, but at the end of the day, it is a Manor, so he's got a lot of hard work and defensive driving to do. But so far the Manor holding up quite nicely this race, and hopefully he can make that last a little bit longer. But as you can see, now going onto the pit straight onto the start of lap 8, Mick's going to get past Daniel Ricciardo, who's going not particularly fast on that medium tyre, making a nice easy move on him way before turn 1. We've got Carlos Sainz exiting the pit lane now on the inside, and Mick's have to try and go around the outside, miss the apex apex of turn 1, but he gets the move done on the Spanish driver who drives for Jaguar now, and actually makes a nice easy move on him and gets himself eventually up into P13. And moving later on in the race, as you can see, we've got Button and Pascal Wehrlein, so both of them doing a good job holding up Max Verstappen, and a few more people have pit. So right now Mick is in P10, but as you can see, he's all over the back of Verstappen. He's going to pull to the inside and go for a late break and move up the inside of turn 8, and he pulls it off there. A lovely move from Mick Schumacher, and he's now on the back of Pascal Wehrlein, his teammate. Now let's see what sort of move he pulls off in here, because obviously he's not going to want to compromise Wehrlein's race, who's having a pretty good one so far, starting on the medium tire. And as you can see, going onto the back straight, both cars have DRS wide open, so it's going to be pretty much a stalemate in a straight line, but Mick Schumacher on the fresher, faster tyres makes a move on the braking up the inside of his teammate, and Pascal Wehrlein not losing a lot of time whatsoever, so a very nice move there from Mick Schumacher on his teammate. And as we move on to the start of lap 11, the German's now going to try and hunt down Jenson Button, who's going very soon. He's actually going to go for a late braking move up the inside of turn 1. Great stuff there, nice and late on the brakes from Mick Schumacher. Button's going to try and hold it around the outside, just so close, wheel-to-wheel action, but Mick just gets ahead of him there thanks to the Mercedes power unit and manages to keep ahead of him. And as we move all the way onto the end of lap 16 now, this is the lap that Mick Schumacher is going to pit, but as you can see, he's actually in P4 because everyone's done their pit stops. So Mick Schumacher right now is in a net P4 position, but Verstappen, as you can see on the medium tyre, has other ideas as he gets past him quite easily before the final corner, and he's actually going to stay out for a couple more laps on that medium tyre, whereas Mick, his tyres are like on 70% plus. His tyres are absolutely toast, so he's going to come into the pit lane. He can't make the super soft work, so he's going to have to come in for a medium tyre instead, which is not the preferred tyre, because now all of the AI are going to go into the soft, so they're going to be much quicker, and Mick's going to have some serious work to do on this tyre, but hopefully he can try to switch it on here and make it work for him, because if he can make this tyre work, then he could be in pretty good stead for the rest of the race. Now, as you can see, he's going to rejoin right in the thick of the traffic here. At the moment, it looks like it's P16, but he's got a couple more cars coming by, including Daniel Ricciardo, who you can see here is battling Kevin Magnussen. It's going to be side by side between the two of them as we go through turn 2, but Ricciardo just gets the grip on the soft tyres that he needs to get past Mick Schumacher and get ahead of him just before the tyres get up to temperature. But moving later on that lap, and Ricciardo's overtaking Magnussen here, but Mick set himself up for a brilliant exit, and he switches back on the pair of them and gets both of them on traction there. So a fantastic double overtake from Mick Schumacher, and just a very, very savvy race car from him there, getting a great move. And then there's been a crash just up ahead here on lap 18 as Ericsson and Palmer have gone for a spin, and that's actually going to cause, I think, a virtual safety car. But meanwhile, Mick's going to try and make a move on Nas as he just about gets the move done before the virtual safety car gets triggered. So a crucial move there for Mick to get ahead of Nas before the virtual safety car. And there's just a very simple instance of where Palmer and Ericsson came together, they locked tyres, and they both ended up spinning the car. And once the virtual safety car got back underway, as you can see, green flag racing here, Mick's going to make a move on Jenson Button, who's struggling on those old soft tyres, and he gets himself up into P8, and he can now try and hunt down Valtteri Bottas, who's ahead of him here. But moving on to the end of lap 21, onto the start of lap 22, Max Verstappen once again this race is on the back of Mick Schumacher, and he's trying to make a move on him once again here, and he's actually going to push him down to P8 momentarily as Verstappen goes very narrow into turn 1, which allows Mick to get a great run around the outside trying to pick up the traction here, and he's actually going to squeeze Verstappen out. He's going to have absolutely none of it as he makes the move back on Verstappen and holds on to P7 there. So some fantastic defensive driving from Mick Schumacher, and so far he's got Verstappen all over his tail once again. The exact same thing as last lap. Verstappen's going to open up the DRS, try and make a move this time. Mick Schumacher goes to the inside and goes defensive, and Verstappen's forced to the outside, and Mick just holds the inside through turn 1 and then picks up the traction, closes the door on Verstappen, and once again holds on to that place. And meanwhile, he's back up into P6 because we've still got a couple of cars ahead doing pit stops, and that includes Valtteri Bottas, who will pit at the end of the next lap, I believe. But meanwhile, Verstappen's still trying to fight and trying to make that same move once again on Mick Schumacher. Maybe the third time is the charm for the Dutchman here as he goes up the inside of Mick Schumacher through turn 1. Mick's going to hold the outside, and so far there's a little bit of contact there, a little bit of wheel banging, but Mick holds the outside once again, and it's great defensive driving as he's now up into P5 as someone else was in the pit lane, I believe. So far, if the German just keeps doing this and Mick Schumacher holds on, this could be a fantastic result. He's holding on for dear life on these medium tyres that are really starting to get second hand now. And moving on to lap 25, Nico Hülkenberg on fresh super soft tyres is trying to make a move, but Mick just holds on from the German, and it's just incredible so far. There's so much action going on. Hülkenberg and I believe Sergio Perez also just behind both of the Force Indy's on fresh super soft tyres. So whatever strategy they've done this race has worked an absolute charm for them. And as you can see, Hülkenberg makes the move up the inside of the final corner on Max Verstappen, not Max Verstappen, Mick Schumacher, sorry, makes a move on Mick Schumacher, and Mick's going to try and re-overtake Hulkenberg here as he picks up the DRS now on the pit straight and trying to go up the inside of the first corner, but the sheer grip that Hulkenberg has on those super soft tyres, he actually makes the move on Mick Schumacher, re-overtakes him and holds on to that position, and Mick gets all out of shape on the exit, which allows Verstappen and also Sergio Perez to make a move as it's 3 wide into turn 4. Incredible action here, and there's contact between Perez and Verstappen, which makes Mick go out really wide and actually give up the position to Verstappen momentarily, and Perez actually lost time behind us. So incredible action here from this beautiful helicopter shot, and Mick actually gets a great run through the S section, actually goes up the inside of Verstappen into turn 8 and makes the move there and re-overtakes the Dutchman. Verstappen trying to pick up the traction on the curb but just gets a lot of wheel spin and can't make the move stick there. So really just incredible action so far as we go into the start of lap 28, and here comes Max Verstappen and also Sergio Perez, both of them with DRS. They just fly past Mick Schumacher there, and the German just can't do nothing about it, and he's just going to have to watch this battle unfold as the two of them go side by side through turn 1 into turn 2, and Mick's going to try and pick up the scraps here, but it's going to be very hard to get past the pair of them because they're both on faster and fresher tyres. But here we go into turn 4. Can Mick Schumacher make anything happen here? He's going to try and go around the outside of Sergio Perez. Can he pull it off? Yes, he can. A fantastic move there. There's a yellow flag just behind for some reason, but crucially it didn't affect the overtake that Mick did on Sergio Perez. However, now moving on to the end of lap 28, Perez is going to make a move here up the inside, and he's actually going to pull it off quite comfortably before the final corner. However, once again, getting the trademark switchback is Mick Schumacher, getting some great traction on the exit, but look at the straight line speed Perez has this time, clearly in rich mix, because Mick Schumacher at this point hasn't got any rich mix left, and he's relying on the DRS to get back past Sergio Perez, and it's a carbon copy of the Hulkenberg move, and it's the exact same thing once again as Perez goes around the outside, holds on because of the grip he's got on that tyre, and eventually squeezes the German out of the track, and that's the yield and hold on to P7, and that's actually going to be where the race finishes. And as you can see, he's left rear on 74%, but Mick Schumacher for the second race in a row is going to score points, and it's a brilliant P7 for the German and a fantastic result for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and one that he'll be very happy with, and I think the team will be satisfied with as well, considering even though he started from P7 on the grid, he basically finished where he started. So overall, not a bad race whatsoever, considering the fact, let's not forget, this is a manor. So I'm still, as I'm recording this commentary, I'm still absolutely baffled as to why there was so much pace. Not just talking about Mick Schumacher, as in talking about myself. When I was driving this, I could not believe the pace that was in the car. It was just incredible. The car felt good, like it felt solid, and it's only the 3rd worst car on the grid, so it's a bit of a strange one. I'm still baffled by it, but I can't 100% guarantee we're on Ultimate AI, so I don't know what it is. Maybe the AI are not particularly great around this track or what, but personally I'm not going to complain. P7 is a great result for myself and Mick Schumacher, and overall a massive 6 points to add on to the brilliant 5th place that Mick got at the Australian Grand Prix, with Lewis Hamilton there and Rosberg taking a 1-2 for Mercedes. And looking at the Drivers' Championship after that race, you can see that Mick is still comfortably in P6 there, and he's got a nice few points to his name, with Nico Rosberg leading the way up front, with Kimi Raikkonen hot on his heels, and Lewis Hamilton getting a couple of points after his first race win of the season. And finally, looking at constructors, you can see that Manor currently are in P5, but we've got to be realistic here. Verline's not going to score any points anytime soon, and Mick isn't going to score points all the time, so it's going to be quite a interesting season to say the least. But nevertheless, hope you guys did enjoy this episode, and if you did, a massive thumbs up would be appreciated. Once again, I do apologise for the mods seem to be messing up this race, but overall, hopefully it didn't ruin the video too much for you, and hopefully you did enjoy it. And yeah guys, that's about for this video. If you're new around here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel for future content, new episodes of this series every single week on a Sunday, so hopefully look forward to those. And yeah guys, that's about for this video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.